And joining us now to discuss is Michael Knowles, host of the Michael Knowles Show. Michael, welcome back. Always so good to be with you. As we just mentioned, some new inflation numbers out today, up 9.1%. That is the highest in more than 40 years. Let's talk more about that, what it means for the American people and what it could signal for the Biden administration and the Democrats as we head into the midterms.
Well, it's really damaging to everyone in the United States, and particularly to people at the lower end of the income spectrum. Inflation is a secret tax on everybody, and especially on the poor. And I suppose now inflation is so pronounced, it's not quite so secret. We're seeing the prices of everything go up, and there are lots of factors that play into it. But I do think it is irresponsible of the White House to try to shirk all responsibility here, because the White House is engaged in policies that are directly responsible for these price increases. All we have gotten from the White House is a dismissal of responsibility and accountability, and that's not enough for people. People are struggling to fill their gas tanks. They're struggling to buy groceries. And so as a political consequence, this is going to be extremely damaging to Democrats in November.
Yeah, and these dismal inflation numbers, I mean, they come as President Biden makes his trip to the Middle East today. Your thoughts on that and what you think will come from this trip, if anything?
Well, it's pathetic that the President of the United States needs to go begging around the world with his hat in his hand and a tin cup, begging other people to lower the cost of oil or to start releasing more oil, when the United States is a very energy-rich country. We're just refusing to produce that energy right now. And so it's a bizarre situation where the President of the United States shuts down an American oil pipeline at the very same time that he greenlights a Russian oil pipeline, that the President of the United States will shut down American oil and gas production, but will encourage some of the worst actors in the world, people like Iran, to up its oil production, or Saudi Arabia, conversely, to up its oil production. Saudi Arabia, obviously a much closer ally of the United States. But the question remains, why do we need to encourage oil from other places when we could produce it ourselves?
Another thing I want to talk about, Michael, is Pope Francis and some comments that he recently made to another media outlet, saying that he essentially finds President Biden's support of legal abortion an incoherence. Your thoughts?
Well, of course, what the Holy Father said is true. It doesn't take a genius of theology to recognize that the Catholic Church's teaching, which is unchanged and unchangeable, is that human life matters from the very beginning, and abortion is inadmissible. It is unacceptable. It is intrinsically evil, and you can't have it. And so it's a really grave situation here, and it's extremely scandalous that Democratic politicians in the United States who call themselves Catholic, in some cases who call themselves devoutly Catholic, would support abortion. That is incoherent. The Holy Father could not have said anything else about this topic. And so he's encouraged President Biden to speak to his pastor about this kind of incoherence. You've seen even stronger statements from, for instance, Archbishop Cordileone in San Francisco regarding his parishioner, or a member of his flock, Nancy Pelosi, who advocates for abortion, all the while she calls herself Catholic. And that's important, too. It's important, one, because of the scandal that it causes for Catholics publicly to support abortion. But it's important for the souls of Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi, especially if they continue to receive the Eucharist. They are eating their own damnation. They are imperiling their own souls and potentially leading other members of the body of Christ astray. And so it's a very serious situation.
Yeah, we're running out of time, Michael, but another story I want to get to and get your take on is one that's getting really a lot of traction right now, the revelations from Hunter Biden's laptop computer. Talk to us more about that.
Well, Hunter Biden doesn't appear to have ever committed a crime that he didn't film from multiple camera angles and then put in an electronic record, all of which are coming out. The media are focusing on his crimes with regard to drugs and sex and all of the scintillating things that make the tabloid headlines. But frankly, the even more troubling crimes regard financial corruption, regard the peddling of American influence, regard the selling out of American resources from public offices through these kinds of criminal deals in Ukraine. Hunter Biden was accepting what were essentially just bribes from Ukrainian oligarchs. The same thing is true of members of the Chinese Communist Party. So we need a special prosecutor. We need people to look into this, because whatever personal challenges the son of the president has dealt with doesn't even interest me all that much. The political corruption that implicates even possibly the president himself, that's very important, and we certainly need to investigate that further.
Yeah, very concerning. Well, we're going to leave it right there. Michael, thank you so much for your time today. Always great to get your analysis.